In our last investigation, we showed you how brands like Craftsman and General Electric were hollowed out by private equity. But here is something we didn't tell you. What if the same thing is happening right now inside your kitchen, your garage, your kid's school bag, and your living room, and it is all being done by one company you have never heard of? There is a single corporation that owns Rubbermaid, Coleman, Crock-Pot, Mr. Coffee, Yankee Candle, Calphalon, Sunbeam, Ulster, Food Saver, Marmot, Sharpie, and Elmer's. 12 iconic American brands, all under one roof, and every single one of them has gotten worse since the day this corporation took over. Its stock has collapsed 91%. The SEC has charged it with misleading investors. Nearly 1 million of its products have been recalled for causing severe burns, and almost nobody knows it exists. Today we are pulling this empire apart, brand by brand, factory by factory. So who is Newell Brands, and how did they get their hands on everything you own? Most people have never seen that name on a product. That is by design. Newell does not put its logo on your crock-pot or your Coleman cooler. It hides behind the names you already trust. But here is the scale we are talking about. $7 billion in annual revenue, 24,000 employees, and a presence in nearly every room of your house. Your kitchen has their cookware and coffee makers. Your garage has their coolers and camping gear. Your bathroom has their Rubbermaid storage containers. Your kid's desk has their Elmer's glue and Sharpie markers. Your campsite has their Coleman tents and sleeping bags. Your living room has their Yankee candles. Walk through your house right now and count. You will be shocked. Newell was built on a strategy so ruthless it has its own name. Insiders call it Newellization. The playbook is simple. Buy a beloved brand. Install financial controllers within the first 12 months. Standardize the accounting, slash costs. Move manufacturing to the cheapest facility available, usually overseas. Extract every dollar of margin before anyone notices the quality has dropped. Then move on to the next target. It worked beautifully for decades on small housewares brands that nobody was paying close attention to. Then they tried it on Rubbermaid, one of the most admired corporations in America, and the whole thing started to come apart. To understand how 12 brands ended up in the same graveyard, you have to go back to a deal that Wall Street now calls the merger from hell. Newell started in 1903 in Ogdensburg, New York, making curtain rods. For most of its history, it was a boring, profitable little company that bought small housewares brands and squeezed their margins. Nobody paid attention. Then in March of 1999, Newell made the biggest gamble in its history. It acquired Rubbermaid for $5.8 billion. To grasp how badly Newell destroyed it, you need to understand what Rubbermaid was before this deal. Under CEO Stanley Galt, Rubbermaid delivered 25% annual shareholder returns for over a decade. Sales quadrupled to $1.45 billion. Fortune magazine named it America's most admired corporation 2 years running in '93 and '94, beating every tech company, every automaker, every bank. A Baylor University study ranked it the second most powerful consumer brand in the entire country. It was headquartered in Wooster, Ohio, where it had been the town's largest employer for 83 years. And Newell bought it to Newellize it. Within months, 520 jobs vanished in Worcester. By 2004, the entire factory was closed. Over 850 positions eliminated. The town lost its economic anchor and over $1.3 million in annual tax revenue. Fortune ran a headline that said it all: how Rubbermaid managed to fail from most admired to just acquired. Newell shareholders lost half their value in 2 years. Bain & Company used this deal as a textbook case study of merger failure. But instead of learning from that disaster, Newell did something almost unbelievable. They doubled down. In December of 2015, they announced an even larger acquisition, Jarden Corporation, for $15.4 billion. And that is where the real destruction begins. Jarden was not a normal corporation. It was a holding empire assembled by dealmaker Martin Franklin, who had collected over 120 brands under one umbrella, including Coleman, Crock-Pot, Sunbeam, Mr. Coffee, Oster, Food Saver, Yankee Candle, and Marmot. When the deal closed in April of 2016, the combined entity rebranded as Newell Brands, boasting $16 billion in revenue and 57,000 employees. The stock hit $55. Management promised $500 million in synergies. Wall Street celebrated, but inside, the integration was a disaster. Newell had never managed anything close to this size, and the brands they just bought were about to pay the price. Start with the brand that hurts the most. Coleman was the gold standard of American outdoor gear for over a century. Founded in 1900 in Wichita, Kansas, their GI pocket stove was so critical in World War II that war correspondent Ernie Pyle called it one of the two most important pieces of non-combat equipment ever developed, right alongside the Jeep. The green two-burner stove and the steel-belted cooler were camping essentials for generations. Vintage Coleman gear from the 1960s and 70s is still collected and used daily by enthusiasts who refuse to buy the new stuff. Today, after passing through Sunbeam, bankruptcy, Jarden, and finally Newell, Coleman tents use cheap fiberglass poles instead of aluminum and carry only a 12-month warranty. The same brand that outfitted the United States Army now makes products that Trustpilot reviewers call poorest quality and garbage. Meanwhile, the old Coleman factory site in Wichita sits on an EPA Superfund contamination zone that has been in cleanup for over 30 years. Now go to your kitchen. Calphalon was born in 1963 when founder Ronald Kasperzak took hard anodizing technology from the aerospace industry and applied it to cookware. The aluminum was treated through an electrochemical process that made it 80% harder than stainless steel. Every pan was made in Perrysburg Township, Ohio, just outside Toledo. Chefs swore by it. Williams-Sonoma launched it nationally in 1976, and it became the standard in professional kitchens. After Newell bought it in 1998, production slowly migrated to China, and on December 31st, 2023, Newell permanently closed Calphalon's last American factory. 130 workers showed up for their final shift and walked out of a building that had been making cookware for 60 years. The Toledo Blade reported that products were still being stamped Toledo, Ohio, USA, even though they were manufactured in China. The label technically referred to the headquarters address, not the manufacturing origin. That is not branding, that is deception. Open your junk drawer. That Sharpie was made by Sanford Corporation until Newell acquired it in 1992. That Elmer's glue your kid uses at school was an independent company until Newell swallowed it in 2015 for $600 million. That Food Saver vacuum sealer came through Jarden, which had bought Tilia International in 2002. One buyer on the Better Business Bureau reported purchasing 9 replacement Food Saver units in 14 years because they kept failing. Light your Yankee candle, or try to. The company was created in 1969 by a 16-year-old kid named Michael Kittredge who melted crayons into a Christmas gift for his mother. It grew into the largest candle maker in America with $844 million in revenue. After Jarden bought it for $1.75 billion and Newell absorbed it, customers flooded Amazon with reviews saying the candles had no scent. A Yankee Candle employee confirmed publicly that the candles are simply not as strong as they used to be. Forum users alleged the company was pumping air into the wax to reduce fill weight. Newell's response was to close over 60 retail stores, announce another 20 closures in December 2025, and lay off 900 workers. A July 2025 rebrand with a new wax formulation was an implicit admission that the product had degraded. And then there is Marmot, the outdoor gear company founded in 1974 by mountaineering enthusiasts in Colorado. Marmot was among the first brands to use Gore-Tex in consumer products. Climbers considered it one of the companies that built the modern outdoor industry. After Newell absorbed it through the Jarden deal, an industry podcast called it a zombie brand, neither dead nor alive, just ambling along. Newell's outdoor recreation segment posted nearly 21% sales declines. A Marmot vice president of marketing admitted openly, "I came here under the shadow of that acquisition. But quality decline is one thing. What happened next put people in the hospital. The most dangerous story belongs to Crock-Pot. The original slow cooker traces its invention to a Lithuanian Jewish Coleman tradition. Inventor Irving Naxon patented an electric version in 1940. Rival manufacturing rebranded it, and sales exploded from $2 million to $93 million by 1975. A 1974 model sits in the Smithsonian. Under Newell, the brand rushed a pressure cooker to market to compete with Instant Pot. Internal documents describe the project as moving at warp speed. In 2020, Newell recalled 914,000 Crock-Pot Express multi-cookers after 119 reports of lids detaching under pressure. 99 people suffered burn injuries, including first through third-degree burns. A Colorado woman won a $55.5 million jury verdict for explosive burns, later capped at $9.1 million, and that is not the only recall. 2 million Calphalon knives were recalled in 2017 when blades snapped off handles during use, 27 injuries. 1.29 million Oster-French door ovens recalled in 2025 for burn hazards. Graco strollers, which came to Newell through the Rubbermaid deal, were recalled multiple times, including a 2010 recall of 2 million units after 4 infant strangulation deaths. Now look at the financial wreckage. Revenue peaked near $11.2 billion in 2017. By 2025, it had fallen to roughly $7.2 billion, a 36% decline. Net losses hit $216 million in 2024 and $285 million in 2025. The dividend was slashed 75% in May of 2023. The stock that traded at $55 now sits below $5. Over $23 billion in shareholder value destroyed. S&P cut the credit rating to B+, deep into junk territory. $1.23 billion in debt comes due April 1st, 2026. If Newell cannot refinance it, the entire empire may collapse. The chaos got so bad that in 2018, activist investors Carl E. Kahn and Starboard Value launched a proxy war to seize control of the board. Jarden's own founder, Martin Franklin, resigned and turned against management. 9 of 12 board directors were replaced. CEO Michael Polk, the architect of the Jarden deal, was pushed out by 2019. His replacement lasted until 2023. The current CEO is the third in 6 years. The human cost is staggering. The workforce has been cut from over 50,000 to roughly 24,000. Newell slashed its product catalog from over 100,000 items down to 20,000, an 80% reduction. Factories were shuttered across the country. Calphalon in Ohio, Rubbermaid in Ohio, Mr. Coffee in Ohio, the Quickie Mop factory in El Paso, Texas, Yankee Candle's distribution center in its own Massachusetts hometown. Each closure meant families who had built those products for decades walking out the door for the last time. And through all of this, current CEO Chris Peterson collected $12.4 million in total compensation in 2024, $1.3 million in base salary, $3.28 million in bonus, and $7.5 million in stock awards. That single year of pay exceeds his entire ownership stake in the company he runs. He was paid more than double the average CEO of a company that size. During a year, the stock hit all-time lows and thousands of workers lost their jobs. Meanwhile, the SEC found that his predecessor, Michael Polk, had instructed employees to scrub the company's accounting when sales came in below expectations. Newell paid $12.5 million in fines. Polk paid $110,000. Neither admitted wrongdoing. Here is what Newell Brands teaches us. A brand name is not a guarantee of quality. It is a piece of intellectual property that can be bought, stripped, and resold. The Coleman lantern your grandfather trusted was built by a family company in Wichita, Kansas, that supplied the United States military. The Coleman tent you bought last summer was designed by a spreadsheet in Atlanta and manufactured by the lowest bidder overseas. Same logo, same font. Completely different product. The name on the box used to mean a factory. It used to mean a town. It used to mean a family that staked its reputation on every product that left the line. Now it means a trademark registered to a holding company drowning in debt. So the next time you pick up a product and recognize the name, do not trust it. Research it, find out who owns it, find out where it is made, find out if the people who built the brand still have anything to do with the product you are holding. Because the name on the box is no longer a promise, it is a costume. And behind that costume, there is almost always a corporation that paid billions for the logo and nothing for the engineering. If this investigation opened your eyes, hit subscribe. We have more of these stories coming, and the next one is even worse.